And welcome into episode 8 of Nick at Night. I'm Nicole Alshouse, joined by the one and only Nick Durzis, who is running for Hoover mayor. As all of you know, you have been busy on the campaign trail and really talking to people through Nick at Night and face-to-face as well.
Face-to-face is great, and I love going into people's houses, sitting down on the couch and talking, shaking hands. But the realization is that we've got a population here of almost 100,000 people. Hard to reach everybody, but I think we're doing a great job of reaching people with Nick at Night. We tried to bring different issues to the forefront. I think they've enjoyed seeing them, and I certainly appreciate the job that you've done. You've been great, and let's get rolling with this one.
Okay, here we are, by the way, Bluff Park. Y'all know Tip Top Grill, famous eatery here with a gorgeous overlook of the city. But here in Bluff Park and across Hoover, really, there have been so many things going around. Some of it truth, some of it misinformation. And we're going to set some of that straight today for you at home watching. Now, I guess the first question really is, looking at Frank Mercado and some of the things that he has said and done when it comes to promises to the people of Hoover, what are your thoughts?
Well, there's 9 years of this administration. So many things have been talked about, a lot of times more than once, things that are going to get done. And that's probably one of the main reasons that I decided to jump in. I see things that are being promised that don't happen. They just get kicked down the road. I've worked for 6 mayors during my 40 years of service with the police department, and really never gave any thought until this election. So that should really say it all.
So let's talk about broken promises. The Performing Arts Center, that's been a topic for many of you at home. You've asked us about it. So let's really address what you thought was going to happen and what many Hoover residents thought was going to happen and what has actually happened.
Sure. And I don't want people to take this like I'm just talking negative. All I want to do is talk facts. And as a police officer and police chief, we talk facts. And as far as the Performing Arts Center, really, that was something that 9 years ago when he ran for mayor, that he was going to fulfill a promise of building a performance arts center. 9 years later, haven't seen any action. As a matter of fact, just recently in an article talking about what he wants to do in his next administration, if he was reelected, he wants to build a performing arts center. There's never been a location. There's never been a business plan. Obviously, you got to have a business model if you're going to do something like that. There's no design, no programming features. Hoover, to my knowledge, is the only Big Ten city in the state of Alabama that doesn't have one. In 2023, the city borrowed $93 million on a bond issue, with $17 million promised to go towards the Performing Arts Center. Here we are, no center.
Okay, so that's one of the things that really has caused a lot of talk in the community from you. And then, was there $6 million redirected as well?
Yeah. Recently, there was a problem with a sewer system. The Inverness River Chase sewer system needed emergency repair, and they went ahead and redirected $6 million of that, $17 million to that repair.
So in many cases, at least I've been in the business world for 27 years myself, and when you decide to do something, there is a plan. You talked about having no plan or no foundation for this.
Yeah, when you start to borrow money for a project, generally speaking, you're going to have a location, you're going to have a plan for a building. To my knowledge, still no location, still no plan. It's crazy how the mayor talks about having a performing arts center, and really we've absolutely done nothing to provide one. Absolutely nothing. Still no architectural plans, no location, and really besides the $17 million. No plan on how we're going to fund it. And once it's funded, how operationally we're going to continue to fund it.
Well, that really begs the next question. Come August 2026, what would you do differently? What would you do when it comes to that Performing Arts Center idea?
Sure. First of all, we've got to start looking at programming. Exactly what type of performance center do we want to have? What type of shows do we want to have? The next thing we got to do, we got to look at different areas around the Southeast that have great performing arts centers. What works, what doesn't work. There's a couple of them, one in Georgia, one in Greenville, South Carolina, that are absolutely beautiful. They are state of the art. And that is something that I envision that the city of Hoover could have, something that we're so proud of, something that that regionally that people talk about. Man, have you seen that deal in Hoover? Just like when we built the Met and started having the Southeastern baseball conferences, there's so many positive elements that could happen. But again, operationally, you got to have a business plan to be able to do these things. And again, all it is talk. There's no action.
Let me ask you this, for somebody out there that might say, well, if you give Hoover a performing arts center, if you're mayor, is that going to mean you're going to increase our taxes?
No, I have said from the beginning, we're not increasing taxes. If we end up building a performing arts center, it's because we can afford to build one. And again, we can talk about this doesn't have to be the city of Hoover just doing the arts center. There's a lot of private other ventures that may want to be part of it. And we've just got to look at a good business model to make sure that whatever we do is sustainable. It's something that, number one, that the public wants, and number two, that if we build it, people are going to come. We know that. And number three, that we can afford to do it.
And speaking of money, back in October of 2023, Mayor Bricado got the city council to pass a Hoover grocery sales tax reduction to offer some relief for inflation. Now, this was an action to a statewide legislation that also reduced the state grocery tax. Good news for Hoover citizens?
I think they thought so. I think they were excited about it. I was at the city council meeting when they passed it. Everybody was excited. They came out in the media. They talked about reducing the grocery tax 0.5%. And then within just a couple of weeks, they found out that they did something wrong, and all of a sudden it gets rescinded. But let's remind the viewers that in 2016, once the mayor was elected, he advocated tax increases. We had an increase in our sales tax. We had a rental tax increase. He advocated for the lodging tax, a $2 a night per night bed fee on hotel rooms. And now he's advocating for a property tax increase. They also had a front door fee on all new homes that were constructed. So again, this was the first time that he didn't advocate for an additional tax. He was cutting the tax, and then what happens? It doesn't happen. So again, we talk about sometimes broken promises. It just didn't happen.
So definitely then, in your eyes, a broken promise.
I would say that's what I would call it, yes. It doesn't appear that this mayor has ever seen a tax that he didn't like. And let's remind the viewers, he's spending your money, your hard-earned money.
So there's a word for that.
I would say the word for that is tax and spend, mayor. Tax and spend.
And so many of you have asked at home, where is the money going?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question. The bottom line is, with these tax increases, we know that there's been millions of dollars worth of new revenue. We're just not sure where they've gone. We've already know that the finance office for 4 years was in utter chaos. Then 2 years ago, the mayor reduced all operational costs for every city department, and we're talking about every city department, police and fire, 10%. Reduced that 10%. And of course, this year, he's not refunding that 10%. So again, because of my leadership in the police department, we're going to make sure that we're doing more with less, unfortunately. But when I become mayor, we're certainly going to get that revenue back to every department because, again, we know cost of goods go up, contracts go up, and we're going to do whatever we've got to do to make sure that gets reinstated. But let me be clear, the national recognition that the Hoover Police Department gets, that our SROs get, the fact that we've put police officers in every school, which happened back in 2012 with every elementary school after the massacre at Sandy Hook, that they're attributed to my leadership, not the mayor's. And for some reason, the mayor wants to always take credit for what we've done. And I can assure you, it's not him, it's been me.
And as you said before, this whole campaign, you've been very factual of just pointing the facts. And sometimes the truth is not always comfortable and it's not always great.
And let me say this to the viewers, again, don't believe everything that I'm saying. Please fact check me. Fact check the comments that I make and the facts that I give you today. Fact checks what the mayor said. From the Finley Center that he built it to putting SROs in the elementary schools, which we did 4 years before he became mayor. Those are facts, and those can be facts that can be found with just a little bit of digging. Take a few minutes, find out 100%. Let's forget, I'm not a spin guy. I'm a police chief, and we tell the truth. We're very honest. We're very transparent. And I'm tired of the spin, and that's really one of the reasons that we're doing this today is just I've heard enough, and I just want to set the record straight. I think the viewers deserve that. And let me say this about the Hoover Police Department. We have the greatest police department in America. Men and women that go out every day to keep our community safe and just do one heck of a job. And I'm so proud to be part of it.
And a lot of Hoover, I lived in Hoover for 14 years, and a lot of friends have said, we go to the Summit
Sure.
to do our shopping now. We don't do it in Hoover anymore.
Well, we've got this lease agreement with Riverwalk, and it's going to cost us around $16 million. We're paying $16 million cash for something that we're not going to own. But think about what we could do with some of these struggling businesses and these empty storefronts and all these lease signs that you see for business. And we're not doing anything with those. We're spending $16 million. We paid $6 million to lease one of these buildings already. There's another $1 million worth of legal payments that we've paid. We hope that part of this project down at Riverwalk works, because if it doesn't, we're going to be in trouble. I mean, that's just a lot of cash outlay that we're paying. Instead of put money into struggling development areas that we've got, the mayor has thrown $16 million at the Riverwalk project, and then during the certificate of need hearing, under oath, says that he never read the lease agreement. So we've not read a lease agreement, but we're going to spend $16 million cash, which makes absolutely no sense to me.
And where does that money come from?
Well, ultimately, it's our citizens' money. So when we're talking about $16 million, it's their money. We're spending $16 million of their money not to own anything.
And speaking of money, once again, I've got a copy here of the Economic Development Agreement. So it looks like for the next 20 years, 85% of the construction-related sales tax goes to the developer. 85% of the retail sales tax revenue from the development for 20 years goes to the developer. 85% of the lodging tax revenue plus the $2 per night bed fee goes to the developer for 20 years. 50% of the property tax revenue for 20 years also goes to the developer, as well as the $16 million prepaid rent for the 1980s office building that the city is obligated to pay, that we've already mentioned, for that office space. And it's a lot more in 200 or so pages. Those are just the cliff notes. Is your understanding the same of this? Because it seems rather generous.
Well, it seems unbelievable to me when I've talked to developers that have seen the agreement. Everyone is just really astounded that anybody would have signed it. But the bottom line, the mayor signed it. But let's not forget. I've already said the mayor signed it, but he didn't know what he was signing, and that may be part of our problem. The other thing is that our city attorney drafted it, and I'm not sure what the city attorney was looking at, because this is absolutely not a good agreement for the city. The negotiation skills here, very, very poor. As we saw the Nick at Night last week, the best negotiator that I've ever seen with the city of Hoover has been Alan Pate when he worked here for almost 30 years. He was literally the best negotiator I've ever seen. And just recently, Mayor Mercado probably doesn't want this out, but Alan Pate helped negotiate this SEC agreement that kept the baseball tournament here for a few more years. I would suggest, had the mayor got Alan Pate to look at this agreement, we would have never signed it, ever.
And, we should mention as well that this economic development agreement is public record. So if there's something that you want to fact check at home, if there's something you want to look into, the Kroll report we've mentioned, if you want to look at that, you're being transparent.
We are. I've been a policeman for over 40 years, police chief 20 and a half. One thing we do, our job is to keep the community safe. What we do, we're transparent. We tell the truth. And all I'm saying to the viewers tonight is to say, listen, if you don't believe this, but some of these things really are so outrageous, it's almost hard to believe that if it's so outrageous, please take a few minutes and fact check everything that we're saying, fact check all of these agreements, because I'm telling you, everything that you're going to see is 100% accurate. And here's the deal. I'm saying this because I live in the city. I love this city, and I'm trying to protect myself as somebody that lives here, that how we're going to pay for all these things. We've got to make some hard decisions, and hard decisions quick, to get the city back on track.
And Nick, what have you heard about the city's AAA bond rating?
Oh, the bond rating is fantastic, and the mayor takes credit that we've got a AAA bond rating, which we do, but he doesn't state that bond rating came in 2014, 2 years prior to him becoming the mayor. And with some of the things out of that Kroll report, I've talked to some bond experts, and they tell me that if we went to the market today, keeping that AAA bond rating probably will not happen.
Now to our favorite part of Nick at Night, your questions. And Nick, this first question comes from Patricia, who lives in Rossbridge. She says she's gotten some mailers in her mailbox that feel negative to her. How would you respond to that?
Okay, well, first of all, I'll say I'm the police chief, and all I deal in is facts. So everything that we say is factual. If she received a mailer, somewhere on that mailer will tell you who it's from.
Okay.
And if it does not say Durz's campaign for mayor, it's not for me. I may not even see exactly what she's talking about. But if it doesn't say that, again, we deal in facts. And I would tell everybody, regardless of what you get in the mail, you read things, fact check them, see if what you're getting is actual true stuff. Same thing with my stuff. I wish people would fact check what we're saying. And we know they've raised taxes. We know the debt has tripled. And we know that the police and fire budget got cut last year and this year.
And that's all under the current administration, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so somebody may perceive that as negative, but at the end of the day, it's just a fact.
Hey, facts tell the story. Facts are the truth. Police, we deal in facts. Check them, please, fact check.
And you may be wondering why we are standing in a backyard. In fact, you can see the home behind us. This is a home and a very well-respected gentleman that approached you, or that you met essentially when you were out. Tell me about it.
Sure. I met Sergeant Amos Benjamin when I knocked on his door, tell him that I was Nick Durzis, I was running for mayor. And we spent a good while talking about the issues that he's had. And here's a guy that is a retired Marine, 3 tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan. Unbelievable story. What a hero. And in Hoover, Alabama, he and his wife buy their dream home. That's behind me. They buy the dream home. And for 3 years, they have had, and the reason we're here, we've talked about stormwater, but this one's a little bit different. When you see the video of what this guy puts up with every time there's a hard rain, it is unbelievable.
This is what happens when it rains in my backyard because of the pipe.
Well, he reaches out to the city, not for 3 months, 6 months, a year or 2, but 3 years. 3 years, nothing has occurred. Nothing has happened. The guy has not had any help at all. And he finally gets a letter from the city attorney, which a lot of people get. I'm sorry, this is private property. We can't do a darn thing for you. That's your problem. As you can see, this pipe through right here. Look at this. All this is in the 3 years that he's lived here, has disintegrated the entire time. If you see the back of this house, it used to be a deck. It's no longer there. You can see the water line where it goes up. Let me tell you something. This guy right here lost his brother in the war, buried at Arlington National Cemetery. This is where my mom and dad are. So that's why I understand this. This is a bunch of crap. I cannot handle this. This is what fires me up. And I can tell you this, the city may not help this guy, but I'm going to. We're going to do whatever we got to do, raise money, whatever we're going to do. We're going to do something to get this guy's problem fixed. He's got a wife and 2 small kids. Well, I think one's 1, one is 3 years old. And they can't live in this stuff. They cannot live every time that it rains, if they've got water coming in their basement, they've got mold. I mean, it's a health issue now. So again, that's why we're here. And again, that's why when the city says everything is great, we know what it's not great. You know, we could do a lot better than this.
So now I have a question for Nick. I've been holding all my questions in, but I do wonder what you're doing over the next week, Nick. It's been a very busy season for you. Obviously, a busy season for everybody watching as well. So we appreciate you taking the time to watch Nick at Night. But what's the next 7 or so days look like?
Okay, next week, so far we've knocked on thousands of doors, met a lot of great people in the community. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be knocking on doors. We're going to be doing some more meet and greets. We're going to be very accessible. And when I become your mayor, you're going to hear from me. We're going to get things done. And again, the Nick at Night, I hope everybody's enjoyed them. I think you've learned a new perspective about myself, my family, and the issues that are taking place in the city. And bottom line is, we're going to go to work. We're going to go to work day one. We're going to have some action. We're going to get things done. Enough of the spin, enough of the stuff that's being said. We're going to tell you the truth, 100%. We're going to make things happen. And I look forward to our last Nick at Night is coming up, I think the day before the election, right?
That's right. It's going to be live Monday. So we hope you tune in and watch that. Now, speaking of transparency, if you've got questions or you're still uncertain, we encourage you to go back and watch the previous Nick at Nights. They are all listed on DursesForMayor.com. So if you want to know about the ballparks, the school system, the water issues, anything, it's been fully transparent and discussed on all the episodes of Nick at Night. We have not avoided any tough conversations. We have not ran away from any uncomfortable talks. We've had them all right here, and they're all recorded for you to go back and watch. Please share them with your friends. Please go ahead and let us know your thoughts. Keep the comments coming. We're going to be live Monday night on Facebook, where you can then ask anything you want as well. We'll have somebody monitoring questions. So we look forward to it.
It's been great. Really enjoyed the series. And you know what? After we win, we might just continue doing these things.
I was going to say, that's the thing. It's not just, hey, we can stop. We can have transparency all throughout. There's no just, hey, you're getting elected and then nobody hears from Nick again. It's you plan to be out there on the streets just like you were as a police chief.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, this has been great. We love you guys. We look forward to our next Nick at Night, day before the election. Tune in, please.
That's right. See you the 25th.